Hello my bees, and welcome to another video. I've been wanting to make this video for such a long time, and today I've got beginners in mind here. So when you're a beginner who's interested in art, it's really hard to know what to do first and where to start and what exactly do you buy. Also, we don't want to be wasteful and buy a whole lot of expensive art supplies and then lose interest in making art. So while I swatch out this beautiful water-soluble graphite, I hope that you can also see that you won't need to break the bank to experiment with an art supply like this one. This water-soluble graphite stick is made by a German company called Lyra, and as you can probably already guess, I really love it. My only regret was that the darkest one available was not in stock at the time, but having said that, I do have another little trick up my sleeve which I'll show you later on that helped get me out of trouble when I wanted those beautiful darkest values to shine. And even after all this time, look how little I've used from just this one stick. This is going to go such a long way, and just by swatching it out you get a feel for this gorgeous medium. This is going to be so much fun to use because you can draw with it, but you can also paint with it. It's one supply that I would definitely suggest that beginners buy. It's so beautiful and so affordable, and not only that, if you are using archival paper, it's also going to be archival. What more could you want from an art supply for a beginner? And even for more experienced artists, this will be such a joy for you to use. So here's another way that you can apply this water-soluble graphite just by using a wet paintbrush and picking up the pigment directly from the stick itself.
There's something I need to tell you.
Here I am applying a second layer of the graphite after the first layer has dried. And now I'm just adding the water so that I can see how dark this 6B graphite can really go. So let's try to add as much graphite to this dark area as possible. So with our second layer now dry, I think it's time for a transfer test. Now if we do get any graphite transferring onto this tissue here, that tells me that it will probably lift when we re-wet it. And it also tells me that if I do want to varnish my finished artwork, I'll have to use a spray varnish initially to avoid smudging it. And once dry, then I can apply my usual varnish with my foam brush and there won't be any smudging at all. And here's a tip, whenever you do a transfer test, if you do notice that there is transfer on your tissue, that's going to mean that it is possible to lift the pigment off your paper. And I'll show you what I mean when I re-wet this swatch. Now I couldn't get my hands on the 9B graphite, but when I looked around my studio, I did have this very well used 8B water-soluble graphite pencil by Faber-Castell, and I thought, let's just complete this swatching experiment and see how much darker we can really go using this pencil. Because as we all know, those dark, moody tones are everything.